Good morning, my name is Steve Janz and welcome to my video series. Today we're going to focus on EPS and we're going to focus on the last step, putting together your Cascade schedule so that you can determine the proper diluted EPS number. We have our data on the side over here, and over here we have the start of the Cascade schedule. Let's get started. I'll tell you the strategies, things to look for when you're putting together your Cascade schedule. First step, I always tell my students, go to 4 decimals. So always take your calculations to 4 decimals. So we've done these calculations, we've got some bonds, we've got preferred shares, we've got some options, we've got our basic EPS calculated. The first thing we have to do is we have to organize this on what's first, second, third, and so on, because that's going to help determine our order to bring this data over here to determine our diluted EPS. So our starting point is our basic EPS values. We have that already there. And then how to determine your order is you basically select the lowest value here, and you basically say, all right, for the options, they're going to be 0. They always are because the numerator is basically 0. So when you calculate this, you get a 0 value here. They're always first. Our preferred shares would be second. Our 8% bonds would be third. And our 6% bonds will be fourth. Now, when I look at this, I look at these values here, and they're all below my basic EPS value. So I'm looking at this and going, well, these will all be put into the schedule here. They'll all be part of the calculation, and I'll just take this information, move it over here, calculate my diluted EPS. It probably doesn't matter what order they are in. Or does it? Let's take a look at this, start doing the calculations, and let's see if the order does matter. So our first part, options. Put our options information in. And we have 0 here, 1,400 here. And what we do is we have to recalculate this every time. So we've got 200,000, and we'll now have 86,400 here. My new value is 2.3148. And what you'll see is that my value must be going lower every time. That's why it's called dilutive. So every time I put one of these in here, I must be going lower. Let's go to number 2 now, and that is my preferred shares. Let's put that information in. 20,000, 17,000, and again, recalculate it every single time. 220,000. 103,400, and of course take this number and then divide it by that number. I'm now at 2.1277. Again, it's going lower. My next value is here, number 3, the 8% bonds. Now this is 2, this is 2.12, so I know that when I put this into the schedule, it will cause this number to be lower. Why? Because it is already a lower value. So 8% bonds, let's put those in there. 30,000, 15,000, recalculate it. 250,000, 118,400. We now are at 2.1115. Again, I'm going lower. That means that I can add this. Now here's where it gets interesting. I've got one left to do. I've done this one, and this one, and I've done it in the proper sequence. And then when I look at this, I go, whoa, 2.21. Now initially I thought this would be dilutive because it was lower than our basic EPS. But you can see that the effect of the options, the preferred shares, and the 8% bonds have now created a diluted EPS number for us of 2.115. This number is actually higher. If I put this number into the schedule, my numbers would start going up. That's not dilutive. So what actually has to happen here is nothing. You are actually done. This is actually your diluted EPS number because this number would cause it to go up. So what you do on a test is you actually write the words antidilutive here. and you do not put it into the schedule because it would cause your diluted EPS number to go up. So your diluted EPS number is actually there. That is your final answer. And notice, again, 4 decimals. Now, let's prove it. Let's actually put this number in now and see what happens, just for fun. Let's see what would happen. I put 6% bonds there. I put the value of 42,000 becomes 292. I put the value of the number of shares of 19,000. That becomes now 137,400. And I would get a value now of 2.1252. You can see that that is going up now. So again, this is anti-dilutive. We would not put this into our schedule. We would stop right there. So that is how you complete this cascade approach for EPS calculations. Have a good day.